Okay, here's another test of us talking about vacuums and blackouts.
Yeah, what's your favorite thing? Vacuums or blackouts?
Probably blackouts.
Yeah, blackouts just happen. Vacuums, I actually have to like plug it in and do stuff.
Well,
blackouts,
you can't use a vacuum if there's a blackout.
Let's do the thing.
All right, let's do it as we always do.
Okay, guys, time to do it.
Is how we do. We didn't clear this song. I can't keep singing it.
Welcome back to Project Propose. I'm Dustin.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Nick. Featured.
That's right, Nick is featured on, what is this, episode 4 of the podcast. He came back.
Episode 4, A New Hope. Nick is the new hope.
He looks like a hope.
Thanks.
Anywho, last time we spoke about everything leading towards the finale of the scavenger hunt when Brenna finds Minnie.
Madame Janine's Creamy Freeze or whatever it was called.
Martha's Dandy Cream?
Yeah, that was it.
So where we left Brenna off, she was playing mini golf with her sister Chloe and then her friends Samara and Corey.
Yes.
Are we talking about the proposal?
That is the project.
We are talking about... You're on Project Propose, Nick.
Wow.
How'd I get here? No, Nick already knows a lot of the details we talked about last time because, of course, he listened to the podcast.
I'm an active listener.
Reader. Oh.
He listened from the couch as we were recording it.
What?
What?
Don't tell them our secrets.
Sorry. I pulled back the curtain.
So now we're ready for the finale.
I know nothing about the finale.
Mike does know nothing.
I know that they're going to get engaged.
Do you? A lot of things change. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, well, let's lay it on here. Tell me what I don't know.
So, like I said last episode, the way I'm thinking about the proposal is as if it were a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Brenna and I love to go see movies.
You do. You go to the movies a lot.
For the past, 3 years, we have gone to this lovely drive-in movie theater.
Madame Janine's Creamy Freeze movie theater.
That's the one. Actually, I think it's called, Glenn's Drive-In Theater.
Shout out to Glenn.
Shout out to Glenn. Well, actually, I don't know if we should be shouting him out, because we had... So, basically, I was thinking I should propose to Brenna at this drive-in theater. I would contact the company, or whoever owns the theater.
Glenn.
I would have them open the theater a little bit early. I always thought that the visual of being in an empty drive-in theater would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or drive-through theater, drive-in.
Drive-in. You don't drive through because then you drive through the screen.
No, I'm thinking like a drive-through, like I'm going to Wendy's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I get fries and also married?
Now that's what I call a Happy Meal.
Hey.
Ooh.
This is getting too witty for my taste. Continue.
So the idea would be Brenna goes to the drive-in theater. I'm standing in the middle of the field. She comes over to me. A video plays of a montage of our past, and there would be a voiceover of me saying a bunch of nice things. And then the video would stop. I would propose. And then another video would play of a bunch of people congratulating us on the big screen.
I love that. What went wrong?
What went wrong was I tried to get in contact with Glenn. And
so Glenn ruined your marriage.
Glenn is the reason why I'm not getting proposed.
I'll remember
or
that,
why I'm
Glenn.
not proposing. I go to their website and they have a phone number. So I call this phone number and it's an automated message just saying movie shows and times.
Okay.
Something that's already on their website.
Seems like antiquated technology, Glenn.
There's no way to get in touch with a person on the other end of this phone call. So I hang up. I went to their Facebook page. Some Facebook pages you're able to message them.
Yeah.
Was not able to message their Facebook page.
Okay.
So I do some research into who the owner is. Turns out his name's not Glenn. I don't remember what his name is, but I find his name and then I'm going and it was a generic name. So I'm going.
We found you, Steve Johnson.
Right. So let's say it was Steve Johnson. I'm going through Facebook looking for Steve Johnson. It was just giving me a ton of results. And there's also no way to look at, if I went to the drive-in movie theaters page, there's no way to see who likes that page. They don't list that anywhere. Because then I could have looked through everyone who liked the movie theaters page and then be like, oh, Steve Johnson, that must be him.
Right.
So then I get into contact with a tourist site for Lake George, seeing if they have the contact info. I also get in contact with a local newspaper that wrote up an article about the drive-in theater. Both of them did not have the contact information.
Wow.
Yeah.
This guy's a ghost.
This guy is a ghost.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good with computers.
You're savvy.
One would say.
If you can't find Steve Glenn Johnson, nobody can.
I spent a full day on this, and there was nothing. So the next day, I'm like, okay, the only way I'm going to get this done is if I spend even more time on it. So I go on Facebook, I search for Steve Johnson.
Steve Glenn Johnson.
Steve Glenn Johnson. Luckily, Facebook normally shows you, if you go to a person's profile, no matter what their privacy settings are, they normally show you all the pages that they like. Mm-hmm. So I'm going through every Steve Glenn Johnson.
In that order.
And I'm going through all the things that they like and trying to find a Steve Glenn Johnson that likes the drive-in theater. Mm. And finally, I get a match. We got his Facebook. We're golden, right? Wrong. I send him a Facebook message. He never responds.
You would think that this business would have some sort of way to contact the business.
At that point, I'm like, okay, I need a plan B, which I did not have. I just was hoping that this was always going to work. The scavenger hunt pretty much hit all the main spots Brenna and I go to when we visit Lake George, so there weren't any other options there. So I had to do something completely new, and I was thinking about cool things that exist in Lake George, and I remembered that there are a bunch of very small islands in the lake. They only fit a few different campsites because they're for camping. Uh-huh. So I do some research, and it's fairly cheap to book a campsite for a day on one of these islands. So I'm like, it'd be pretty cool if I'm just on an island waiting for Brenna, and we decorate the island a little bit.
That would be really cool.
I end up booking a campsite at Fork Island, not Spoon, Fork. So as Brenna is playing mini golf, me and Mike,
hello,
we are going to take a boat to Fork Island.
I'm gonna take my boat to Fork Island. I'm gonna boat till I can't no more.
Okay, I thought you would have referenced I'm on a boat, but that's fine. It's 2019.
Yeah, it's some dated reference. Old Town Road references only.
It's awkward because my hint for what she's gonna do is I'm on a boat.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh no. No fork emoji or anything?
I don't think that would print well, or at least not in the font I'm using. We're gonna set up the area. I'm thinking we're gonna have several lantern-like things. We're going to print out a bunch of pictures of me and Brenna. I saw this on the internet. This wasn't my idea.
Cool, trust
the internet.
We're
gonna wrap around, string around trees, and we're going to pin the pictures to the trees.
Now, the boat, is it a little shuttle boat, or are we is this going to be a George Washington crossing the Delaware situation where we're going to be on a little rowboat?
Oh, I'm getting to that. Yeah, so we'll have, I'm thinking we'll have an hour and a half to decorate, and then Brenna will be there by that time, and then I'll propose. We're not going to do a montage video anymore. I was thinking about potentially bringing a projector out to the island, but
that's a lot.
It was a little too complicated. Also, depending on how sunny it is, it might not work well. I still want to do the congrats video, so I'm just going to bring a tablet and show it on that, and then we'll all boat back together. Now, speaking about boats.
Who was speaking about boats?
There's a bunch of campsites, so I thought, oh, it's pretty easy to get, onto an island. Turns out it's not. Totally underestimated the boat situation in Lake George.
Oh, no.
So I reach out to a company that does what they call water taxis. They said for 3 trips, because it would be one trip, Nick and Brenna, or no, you and me, then it would be Nick and Brenna, then it would be all of us going back. So 3 trips would be basically $1,000.
Whoa! So are we learning how to sail now? Is that what's happening?
Well, so
I did not sign up for sailing.
So actually we were very close to renting a boat for the day, and I could technically drive it, but I wouldn't want to just because I prefer Brenna seeing me for the first time at the island as opposed to on the boat.
Are you licensed?
You don't need to be licensed. That's my secret.
That's my secret, Cap.
You did.
I'm always licensed.
No. I did a lot of research on this, trust me. I watched how to drive boat videos. I was preparing.
I love how you prepared to drive the boat before you even knew if you'd be driving a boat or not.
But I didn't want to drive a boat, and I was thinking about asking you to drive the boat, but then I remembered how you're not very hand-eye coordinated.
I don't have enough competence to drive a boat.
So my backup plan was Johnny would skip out on breakfast with... Johnny's my brother. Johnny would skip out on breakfast with my family, and he would be driving the boat. to the proposal.
I feel like there's a but.
There is a but. So there are other companies that do water taxis that had better prices after I found out that first one, but they all close fairly early. They close at 5 o'clock when I need a boat until 7 o'clock. And I could maneuver everything to be
Boat
shorter.
schedule, yeah.
Then it'd be a little too quick because I gave Brenna roughly an hour with each party. And then instead of that, you would get like half an hour, which is a little fast,
Right.
especially depending on what you're doing. So then I'm thinking there has to be a way to contact like a local fisherman or someone who would just drive a boat for me, right? Like an Uber for boats. So I search Uber for boats and I find out that there actually is an Uber for boats that Uber provides.
What?
It's called Boober.
That's a very different service, and I don't think this podcast is rated to talk about it. It's actually called Uber Boats, I think.
Oh, that's very different than what I said.
It's only in like one part of the world, which is not Lake George.
It's in Monte Carlo.
But after a few pages of going through Google results, I find getmyboat.com.
Oh my god.
TakeMyBoatPlease.net.
So I find getmyboat.com, which
GetMyBoat.com?
is getmyboat.com.
Getmyboat.com.
This episode is sponsored by GetMyBoat.com. GetYourBoat.com.
Oh, that was weird. So, and this was exactly what I was looking for. I Googled, okay, who drives a boat in Lake George that is reasonably priced. We only had 2 results. Fine. Someone has to reach out, right? So I make an account on getmyboat.com.
It's so easy to make an account on GetMyBoat.com.
And I reach out to both of these people explaining I'm doing a proposal. I need to do 3 trips. Like, what would be your rate? Wait a few days. Neither of them respond.
No fault of GetMyBoat.com.
Right.
This is a personal decision on the behalf of these gentlemen who drive these boats. GetMyBoat.com provides quick and easy service to anybody for boat needs.
Yeah, so you could say I've been Glenned again.
You could say that.
Stephen Glenn Johnson.
Maybe he
proposals
runs.
one day. Oh my
Get
He
god.
runs a monopoly on the
Pull
Lake
the
George.
sponsorship.
So after a few days, I'm like, okay, maybe like they don't use the service anymore. So let me see if I could find their contact information directly, because I didn't have their full names, but I had Captain Jeff and Captain Gary of Lake George. So I Google those two captains.
Dustin is not providing a good example here, going outside the parameters of the wonderful services provided by GetMyBoat.com. But, you have to understand, in these desperate circumstances, he needed to make sure that a boat was present. But under no other circumstances would we recommend going anywhere but GetMyBoat.com. Sorry, Dustin, continue.
Thank you for reading that fine print. So I contact both of these captains. I call them both up, and Captain Jeff said that he only does fishing, so he's not going to do a water taxi. Captain Gary, on the other hand, the nicest man.
We hate Captain Jeff. We love Gary.
So Captain Gary, he loved the idea of the proposal. He was totally down to do it. Driving the boat till 7 was fine. He had a great rate. So we now have a reservation with Captain Gary to drive us around for basically 3 hours.
Captain Gary, coming through in the clutch.
Fortunately, I didn't need a plan C after my plan B. And arguably...
All you needed was a plan G. His name was Gary.
That was good. Arguably, I think this island plan is better than the drive-in theater plan.
Yeah, it's
If we
pretty
can pull it
cool,
off.
pretty unique.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little different.
Yeah. I like the sentiment of the theater because it's like some place that you guys have been and it has some like resonance for you, but like in terms of like an experience, this is definitely a more unique, cool experience.
Yeah, also, Gary's greater than Glenn, so
It's true.
hashtag.
Exactly. Hashtag Gary no Glenn.
Gary's going to drive us there, do the proposal, he'll drive us back. After that, we're going to meet everyone that's been a part of this day for dinner.
Oh, I thought everybody was going to be on the island.
No.
Oh,
Gary
no.
doesn't have that big of a boat.
Technically, I could, but no.
In theory, no. Sorry,
so,
Mom.
So this was mentioned in episode 2 when I was talking to Brenna's parents. She asked if she's going to be there for the proposal, and I said, like, maybe. So if we did it at the drive-in theater, my plan was when something's played in the theater, it's broadcasted to like a local radio. So the plan was that everyone wouldn't be at the theater, but they would be outside of the theater listening to the radio in their car, waiting for their cue to come in after like I propose, and then everyone would drive in. So they wouldn't like be there for the proposal, but they'd be there right after.
You could just have everybody hiding behind trees.
Genius. With this, like, I really just want it to be a moment for me and Brenna, and I don't know.
Nick and me.
Yeah,
right.
Mike and I.
Well, you guys will be there to record it and take a bunch of pictures and clean up. Also,
no one said I was gonna have to wash Gary's boat.
Also, go to the bathroom before you get on the island.
There's no bathrooms on the island?
No, there is, but you don't want to go to it.
That's fair.
It's like an outhouse.
People camp there.
You can go to the bathroom. You just don't want to go
Use
to the
bathroom on the island in emergency scenarios only, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
So if we're doing the island thing, I don't think it's worth bringing everyone out.
I agree.
Like, I think it's better if, okay, we get back on land and then everyone is waiting for us at dinner.
Yeah, she's already had her like moments with everybody, and then you can you can all come together again at dinner.
Plus, I haven't seen her all day. I just want to spend a little time with her.
Aww.
Anyway.
Aww.
Okay. You okay, Mike?
No, I'm just so emotional.
That is the full plan for the scavenger hunt. Now
I'm into
you know.
it. You guys are all in the loop. I'm all in the loop. Let's do this thing. Let's propose. Let's go right now.
Let's do it right now.
Call Gary.
Gary would do it. He's that nice.
Yeah, I love him.
He's like, oh, you want me to boat you from LIC?
There's water here.
I don't know if you guys talked about this or not, but what happens if Brenna, like, you said the hint for the island was, I'm on a boat. Honestly, it doesn't seem like Brenna or anybody would really be able to know what the heck that meant.
That's a great comment.
I mean, like, it seems to me like it's a quote unquote scavenger hunt, but like she's gonna be directed to all these things, right? She's not gonna have to figure out where to go.
As you film her, you are also going to chaperone her to all these locations.
I see. So, like, give her, like, 5 minutes, and if she doesn't think of it...
Give her 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah. It's not really to try for her to actually figure out where everyone is. She should be able to get every hint except for that one.
Yeah.
Some of them are easier than others. Or maybe if she can't figure out the clue, she doesn't get the engagement.
Right. Like, you have to do the whole scavenger hunt to earn your love.
I'm just on that island for like years, like waiting for her.
Growing out a beard.
Right.
It's Castaway, but Dustin just stays on the island forever because Brenna never finds him.
That's right. And I don't even have a volleyball.
Oh wait, no, I'm on the island too. I'm the volleyball.
Any other questions about it? Or comments? Concerns?
My only concern is for anybody that is not using the wonderful services provided by GetMyBoat.com. I mean, what more could you ask for from a website? You can get your boat and you can .com.
Look, guys, I'm not saying it's going to be the next Uber, but, like, it might be.
Are you telling them they should invest?
No.
There will be no insider trading committed here. GetMyBoat.com is a publicly traded company.
I don't think it is. I would be very surprised if it
This
was.
is the most advertising GetMyBoat.com has ever had.
What do you think the odds are they actually sponsor this?
They have no money
Close
to
to
give
zero.
us.
If they're anything like Glenn and their own services, no one's going to be reaching out.
If they're anything like Glenn or themselves.
And then, okay, so after the island, you go back, you meet everybody that's been here the whole time. And then what? Like, is that it? Is it over?
Well, then they have to, like, get married, but...
Yeah, then we have to get married. Well, I'm thinking we'll do an episode with Brenna. Not at Lake George, but when we're all back, we'll do an episode of her
Right back
reaction.
here in the bathroom.
And I'll be busy editing the video.
Oh, yeah.
To then post. I'm going to try to post it on her birthday, I think. If I can time it right. Her birthday's in October, so if we're doing like one...
It's the hex code color of this album, the yellow.
Oh, fun fact. The yellow in our album artwork, the hex code, which is like how colors are made on computers.
For all you stupid morons out there.
It's my initials and Brenna's initials and our anniversary. I think it's like BFDA26. Because I'm a nerd and a designer. So that's what happens.
I have to say, album art looks great, by the way.
They haven't seen the old album art.
Don't see the old one. It doesn't look as
Thank you. I appreciate that. I designed both, so I'm equally offended and happy with your comments.
I think everything you do is perfect, Dustin. Don't ever change.
Thank you. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Dustin.
I just got a great deal on Zola.
Zola? What's that? A candy bar?
No, it's much better than a candy bar. It's a wedding registry service.
Wow, that is better than a candy bar.
And if you click our link in the description below, you can get $50 towards your registry.
That's awesome. I'm going to sign up right now, and I'm not even planning a wedding.
That's the spirit. I mean, Brenna signed up way before she even met me.
Zola, more like voila, because it's like magic.
Okay, so that's the proposal. Now our favorite part of the podcast, and again, why everyone's here, for the questions and comments at the end that we just talk about.
Philosophizing. Philosophizing?
Philosophizing.
Philosophizing
About falafels.
yeah, philosophizing about falafels and love and life.
So what's your favorite type of falafel?
The chickpea one?
Have you had falafels? I've never had a falafel.
I have. Falafels are for the most part, typically gluten-free because they're made of chickpea flour. I'm gluten-free in case anybody didn't know that, but now you know. Send me gluten-free goodies.
Yeah, guys, it's 2019. Be respectful. So, what's the best date you guys have been on?
This one.
Aw, again stealing my jokes.
Dustin says funny things, but he doesn't
I
always
say-
say them on air,
I
so
say
I
them
say
off
them
air,
on.
yeah.
I say them on air.
At least someone's getting them on air.
You gotta get them in here.
Guys, I promise you, I'm a lot funnier off air. When the camera comes on, I can't think of any
I
jokes.
get significantly less funny.
It's the
true.
camera, it's not me. It's a microphone, right?
Dustin,
Damn
it's your project. What was your favorite date that you've ever been on?
With whom? Yeah.
I've only dated Brenna.
I feel like it's a
hard
bad question.
Why is it a bad question?
I don't know. I mean, I think like when I think about my favorite dates, I don't have any.
Well, maybe you've been on a lot of bad dates.
No, I mean,
Nick, it's not a bad question. You've been on bad dates.
I think this brings up an interesting topic. Nick, why have you never been on a good date?
like when I think about like what someone else might think a best date would be, maybe it would be one where I like went to all these fun like locations and like did a lot of things. Okay, actually, maybe I do know my favorite date now. I was gonna say, but I don't think I really know what date is.
So
I think before we get into like specific examples of what our favorite dates were, I think what makes a good date is not always necessarily like doing the best things. I think it's more the overall experience. Like I think you could have like a relatively like low key kind of date, and it could be one of your most memorable or one of the most important to you personally because of what it meant for different reasons.
Right. Like if
It's more about the people, not the place.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say before you said my question was stupid.
Sorry, I
but
was
at least you changed your mind because it seems like now you have an answer.
Brothers, please let us not fight and let us talk about love.
I don't know exactly what my favorite date is, but the themes of my favorite dates are like when Brenna and I are having a great conversation. I also love surprising her, hence this podcast, hence the proposal. Obviously, this is the biggest surprise yet. Like, if it's our anniversary, like, sometimes I'll just plan a full day of events, and I just love seeing her reaction.
What was your
all the
favorite
things.
surprise you ever did for Brenna before the proposal?
I planned a day for one of our anniversaries where took her out for a nice breakfast, went to Allbirds, got her a pair of shoes, then took her to see Waitress, Broadway show.
I'm a big Waitress fan. Waitress, send me free stuff.
Sugar, butter, flour.
Don't send me flour, I'm allergic.
What if I sent you flowers?
Oh, that I'm not allergic to. Those I will take.
Okay. I'll make my pie with literal flowers.
That would taste disgusting.
Hell, you've never tried my pie before.
There's a good reason you use flowers.
And then after we went to a nice dinner. So like that was probably one of the bigger surprises. Also, for her birthday this year, I like totally decked out the apartment in like decorations because it was the first year that we were living together for her birthday.
This will kind of be like the island in the proposal.
It will be kind of like the island.
Dustin just likes decorating. I think you found your calling.
Call me Martha Stewart.
I feel like you're more of a traveling Dyson salesman.
Well, let's not get started on Dyson because that'll make this episode way too long.
But you know what we can get started on? GetMyBoat.com!
So Nick, what was your favorite date?
I think it was with GetMyBoat.com.
Wait, I've used this service before.
My favorite date was the time where me and my girlfriend, I went on getmyboat.com. I got her a boat, and we took it. And it was such a seamless, easy, wonderful experience.
Who was your captain?
Gary, of course. We don't use anyone else.
Loyal to a T. To a fault, not to a T. Loyal to a fault.
Loyal to tea. Loyalty. I am loyal to tea. I'm more loyal to coffee, but like tea I can be loyal to also.
Me too, but each their own.
Anyway, Nick, favorite date?
Okay.
The suspense is killing me. Just say it.
I think my favorite date was one that I didn't know was a date at the time.
Ooh, I like that.
If that makes sense.
No, I like that a lot.
Meaning, like, we were just friends, and it was totally the kind of thing that, like, you know, when poorly, either of us could have just been like, oh no, like, I was just hanging out with this friend or whatever. We wound up spending, like, the whole day together. It was, like, 8 hours long. We biked around Governor's Island maybe, like, 20 times. Wow. I'm pretty sure I could have drawn a map of the island by the end of the day. The island is not very big. You can camp there, like glamp there. I don't know why that's a thing.
Should I change the island from Fork Island to Governor's Island?
No.
Okay.
You know why?
Why, Michael?
Because Fork Island is such a lovely little island, and you don't want to miss out on that. That's not where you thought I was going with it.
We all knew.
Plus, if you went to Governor's Island, you couldn't use the amazing services provided by GetMyBoat.com.
Again, going back to, like, the company making the date. I mean, we, like, got dinner after, and then we got a drink. It was just, like, a really nice and, like, whole day.
I think that goes back to the theme of what I was saying of, like, the best dates have something unexpected to it. So like when Brenna and I have a deep conversation on a date, like I'm not necessarily expecting to have that deep of a conversation. With the surprises, like that's unexpected for Brenna. So it's like an element of fun and mystery almost makes a good date.
I think that's right.
Mike, do you agree or do you disagree?
I agree.
And I have nothing else to say.
Had you on the edge of your seat there, didn't I?
Okay. I think that's enough about...
I didn't even answer the question!
Yeah, Mike, what's your favorite date that you've been on?
I want to hear...
And don't talk about boats.
We really want to hear about your favorite date. And I'm pretty sure you did give an answer, and it was about boats.
I will answer this question seriously with an answer that's not about boats. I do agree with the sentiment that it's not always exactly what you do. I think it's more about like the underlying significance of what it means. Like I would say one of my favorite dates was when my girlfriend and I first started dating. We went up to Ithaca where she went to school, and we just had like a really nice day. We went to the movies, we went out for dinner, we hung out at our Airbnb, which was like this really nice house, right? It had really nice views of all the scenery around us, and I think it was just like a really nice day because we really early on in our relationship got to know each other more, and I got to kind of see like where she went to school, which was such like, you know, which is such an impactful part of a lot of people's lives when they go away for school. Even though like we just kind of did some low-key stuff, we went to the movies, went for dinner, the whole experience meant more to me because of all of the underlying significance of it.
See, I love going to movies with Brenna, but it's like so the opposite of what I like about dates because there's like no talking involved or no surprises for each other. Like movies are just so much fun. They're also great training wheels for like newer relationships where like if you're not confident, you're able to talk the whole time. Like just go to a movie.
I feel like I was never one to like suggest a movie as like a first date. Like,
right.
Even you know when
it's so cheesy.
Had my brief experiences on like the dating apps and stuff. I agree. It's not a good place to like get to know somebody. But once you already kind of get to know somebody, it's a great thing to do because you know what kind of things you guys are interested in. You know, it's like, oh, this is a movie that we can really bond over together, and it starts a whole conversation before, starts a whole conversation after. Yeah. If you're just getting to know somebody and you're like, I don't know, what do you want to go see, Spider-Man? Like, no, I hate Spider-Man. Like, it's.
Why do you hate
then
Spider-Man?
I love Spider-Man.
Okay.
The random person who I would not be going on a second date with hates Spider-Man.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think I would do anything. I would just leave after that.
Yeah. Like, do you want to go see Spider-Man? I hate Spider-Man. All right, well.
I hate you.
Yeah.
That was easy, and that's why I love movies.
I'm just very passionate about my movies. Okay, now that you answered the question, can we end the podcast now?
Not before I get one last plug-in for the good folks at GetMyBoat.com. Yes, we can end the podcast.
Again, not going to forget to share our socials. Instagram at Project Propose. We have a YouTube channel. Still don't know what the link is.
Project Propose. You'll
Hopefully
find
in the description.
it. We got it for you. be sure to rate and review and subscribe to this
course.
podcast.
And buy a boat.
Oh my god. Don't buy it, just get it. That's their slogan.
Just get it.
Don't buy it, just get it.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
On behalf of us here at this podcast and the good folks at GetMyBoat.com,
Everyone hates us. Who have you been, Mike?
I have been Mike.
I have been Dustin.
You have been Nick.
Yeah, someday.
Nick, thanks again for stopping by.
Yeah, Nick,
we
always,
appreciate it.
Always good to have you.
Your romantic expertise is unparalleled.
Thanks, although I don't think that's true.
Just take the compliment.